Hello, everyone, and welcome to another installment of the best of Matt Connarton Unleashed. Of course, Matt Connarton Unleashed is live weekdays, emanating from our studio at WMNH 95.3 in Manchester, New Hampshire. But today we're not live. Obviously, this is a best of, which means maybe we're on vacation, or who knows, perhaps I was the last one to get swept up in the Mueller probe, and I'm sharing a cell with Michael Cohen. Who knows what could have happened? But in any case, this is the third installment of the best of Matt Connarton Unleashed, bringing you some of my favorite clips from the last couple of years on WMNH. And let's dive right in, shall we? Our first clip for today's show is a fun conversation that was a bit of a surprise because I didn't know he was going to be calling in. But I was recently joined via phone by an old friend on the air, Canadian comedian Joe Crawford, also host online of The Joe Show, a very popular program, called into my show. John Hopwood was there in the studio with me as well, and the three of us had a great conversation. It was a lot of fun. So, without further ado, here's our first clip of the day. John Hopwood and I talking with the great Joe Crawford. Let's take this call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
It's Crawford from the Joe Show. Happy second anniversary.
Joe Crawford, how are you, sir? All the way from Canada, or Canada, as some like to say.
Canada, yeah. How are you?
I'm doing great. I think this is the first time you've ever called into my show live.
I think so, yeah.
You're my favorite Canadian. Well, next to Michael J. Fox, of course, and probably some random hockey player.
Well, thank you. That says a lot.
What about Fergie Jenkins? You're not a fan of Fergie Jenkins?
I don't know who Fergie Jenkins is. Who's Fergie Jenkins?
And you appeared on the baseball show all those years.
Oh, that's true. Joe, do you know who Fergie Jenkins is?
No, I don't know who Fergie Jenkins is.
And you call yourself a Canadian?
Yeah, well, he does call himself a Canadian.
He's the first Canuck to be in the Baseball Hall of Fame.
I forget, Joe. Do you have dual citizenship, or are you strictly Canadian?
Strictly Canadian. I do have family who are American.
Yes.
But I am strictly Canadian only.
Yes.
Canuckistan.
Oh, Canuckistan. Wow. I like to think of it as northern Michigan, personally. I hope that's not offensive to you, Joe.
No, USA Juniors.
No, northern Michigan, northern Montana, northern New York, it all equals out the same because the weather all tends to be the same anyways.
Oh, Jenny in the Facebook live chat says, geez, Lou. Now, you know what's funny about that? Because you say that all the time, Joe. John Hopwood over here says Jeezoo quite a bit. So he has his own version of geez, Lou, just without the Isn't that
he's cutting right to the cake. He's doing the shortcut version. Yeah,
he's going right for the Lou. He goes right from G's to Lou, or Jeezoo.
Well, I like to keep it classic.
No, that's right. There's no
Mozartian.
Lou. It's Jeezoo.
Well, I call it Jeezoo.
You call it Jeezoo.
Well, it'd be Jeezoo, really, but
it's
I like
spelled
to call
like
it Jeezoo.
Yeah, but you're not Canadian, so why do you say things like that?
Part French Canadian.
Oh, there you go. All right. See, it all comes around. It all comes together.
None of the Franco-American crap for me. Like a can of cheap spaghetti.
Right. So how have you been, Joe? What's new with you? You and I legitimately haven't talked in a really long time.
Yeah, no, I've been doing very well and been very busy. Of course, as you mentioned before, I have the Joe Show, so that's going strong.
Yes.
And season 12 is wrapping up in the end of June, and we'll do season 13 in the fall time there. I have another business that I run on my own, a lot of entertaining that I'm doing across Canada and in Ontario, the province that I'm from. And, yeah, just enjoying life and loving every minute of it.
Very nice. Loving every minute of it, of course, the name of one of the hit singles from the band Loverboy, who are also Canadian. I don't know if you did that intentionally, Joe, but that's what came to my mind when you said that. Feel free to take credit for doing that intentionally, even if you didn't. That's what I would do.
I did that fully intentionally, just on purpose.
Of course you did. Yes. Loving every minute of it was, I believe, later in their career, but still a legitimate hit song. Is Loverboy still big?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Are they still big in Canada?
Oh, yeah, especially...
Are they really?
I know a lot of people in southern Ontario here love Loverboy and that, but yeah, they're very big.
I can't tell if you're kidding. I feel like you're kidding, but I'm not sure. No, you're serious?
I wish I was kidding, but I'm not kidding.
Well, all right. By the way, Joe, are you working for the weekend? See what I did there? See, because you did.
I'm actually working. I'm actually working on the weekend, but not for the weekend.
Well, that's kind of the same thing. See, I mean, there you go. Because I had to take your loving every minute of it and I just elevated the whole concept to the next level with my comment. If you notice, I am a comic genius. Just ask me.
You are fantastic.
Thank you. No, I appreciate that. Now, what will you be doing over the summer while you're on hiatus from your show? Because you take a summer break, correct?
Yeah, I do take a summer break. Just a lot of performing and enjoying the surroundings and traveling a bit here and there. The big trip I'm actually doing in September. I'm going to Israel for 2 weeks.
Ooh,
so that's going to be a lot of fun. That's a vacation, not an actual work thing. That's a vacation, but yeah.
Jenny's going to be jealous. She wants to go to Israel.
Who wants to go?
Jenny. Jenny. She wants to go to Israel. So she'll be very jealous.
I'll take a lot of pictures for her to see.
Very nice. Very nice. Outstanding. Oh, I see. Chuck Colansis is in the Facebook live chat, as well as Stefan Philbrook and Jenny. Jenny's making fun of Hopwood there. So yeah. So well, Joe. So how are things going up there in Canada? For we talk about politics on the show. How are things going for Justin Trudeau? I saw that he was in some trouble recently.
And the election can't come fast enough to get rid of the guy. We have our election for the nation in October, and there's lots of controversy going on, and 2 of his cabinet members have been ousted.
Yeah, they threw them out of the Liberal caucus.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Conrad Black defended that, in the National Post. So I don't know. Who can argue with Conrad Black?
The big thing is that she recorded, but I mean, it's legal under our chartered rights here in Canada in the criminal code that she recorded her conversations. And in our charter, it says that as long as one person of the conversation knows that there's a recording being done, which obviously that would be the person recording it, that it's fully legal.
Well,
the other person doesn't need to know that it's being recorded.
Okay.
Now, however, if you're doing a phone call, then that person needs to know. But if you're face-to-face with that person, the other people do not need to know. Only one person needs to know, and that one person can be the person recording.
Okay. And she was the Minister of Justice. Like the equivalent of our Attorney General.
So for me, I haven't followed this as closely, and for our listeners, did she record an interaction with Justin Trudeau that was incriminating? Is that what happened here? Or
she was actually recording not with Justin Trudeau, but assistants of Justin Trudeau in regards of the situation. I don't know exactly what it fully was either, but yeah, she was not actually recording Justin Trudeau, just other people assisting Justin Trudeau.
Okay. All right.
And then Ontario, our premier, is just like a mini Trump up here.
Oh, come on.
Comparing him to a mini Trump.
Have some sympathy. He lost his brother.
Did he?
Yeah, his brother was he was the mayor of Toronto. He was a notorious...
Oh, Rob Ford?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rob Ford's brother is our premier.
Oh, wow. No kidding.
Well, come on. You had Mike Harris. He's, I guess he wasn't as bad. He's bad. I don't know if he's worse than Harris.
Wow.
And remember Ralph Klein in Alberta?
Yeah, well, they're changing our Ontario logo because Doug Ford says it looks like 3 men in a hot tub.
Really?
That could be Manchester's old...
Oh, my goodness. Doug Ford is his name?
Rub-a-dub-dub.
Absolutely.
They're twin brothers.
Yeah. Well, I remember seeing a television show that they had done together when Rob Ford was still alive. And I guess it only lasted 1 episode. But it was like just the 2 of them talking about politics and almost like an infomercial for themselves and their political careers. I have no idea what it was called, but I just remember seeing it on YouTube. And I guess it was like...
Ford Nation.
Ford Nation. Yes. But sadly, it only lasted one episode because Rob Ford was, well, I mean, Toronto is the fourth largest city in North America. Rob Ford really was a prominent figure there for a while just because of his buffoonery.
Oh, my God. But look, you're talking about this. When you were a tyke, you were at Studio 54 with Justin's mom, Margaret Trudeau, when she was with Mick Jagger and the kid, the guy that had the plane load of cocaine.
Well, that's all true, but I can't really talk about that. I don't want to have to. I was paid a large sum of hush money, as we say here in the U.S., to not discuss any of that. I don't want to have to give that back because, frankly, it's already spent.
Because, you're just a tyke. You used to operate the crotch cam, which we won't go any further.
Well, I did. And those are wonderful memories, but...
got you quite an education.
Yes, indeed. Yes. To me, the most disappointing thing about the death of Rob Ford is that Chris Farley had already died a long time ago, and he would have been ideal to play Rob Ford in a movie about him, like
was Chris Farley
biopic.
Canadian?
No, but he was he would have been perfect to play Rob Ford. Don't you think so, Joe?
Oh, absolutely. Or like an SNL skit back in the day or whatever else.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even Rob Ford got invited to Jimmy Kimmel, and he was getting international recognition, too, with the things that Rob was doing.
Absolutely. I assume Doug, you said Doug is like a mini Trump, but I assume he kind of has it together a little bit more than his brother did, at least, right? I mean, I would assume.
Maybe. Maybe not.
They were in cahoots together.
Yeah, but I just mean in terms of just being a total buffoon. Although you did say he's a mini Trump, so maybe he is as much of a blithering buffoon as his brother was. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what? They're really making it's what's going to be really huge in Ontario, and I'm kind of sitting on the fence with it as well. Is the fact that so really Ontario, Doug is trying to make a lot of the alcohol habits of what United States has.
Oh, that's
where
right.
It can be sold in corner stores now. Well, not yet. The budget just came out yesterday. Actually.
You're going to be able to. Bars at 9 a.m. are going to be able to serve liquor.
Yeah, 9 a.m. They can promote party hour. We're going to be able to do tailgating. We're going to be able to basically drink they'll be able to offer drinks in the casino for free, as long as you're gambling, like they do in the States as well.
Like the old days.
Lot of changes, which I mean will be very friendly for our American neighbors and friends to come on up and enjoy that same atmosphere, I guess you can say. But it does seem a lot like though it is a lot of drinking and alcohol throwing down our throats all at once. I believe if he actually did it right, because I'm not really I don't drink and drive. I'm not much of a drinker myself, but if he did it gradually at different things, I think it would be perfect. But it just seems like everything's all drinking, like tailgating, happy hour, 9 a.m. this, and it's deflecting from a few other things from that they're doing in cutbacks of healthcare and education and that kind of nature.
Yeah.
But here's free booze, and then we even did for one time it was a buck of beer and have a buck of beer, and that was going on too. Where actually some breweries actually jumped on the bandwagon for a little promotion for 2 or 3 months, where you could buy a bottle of beer for $1. But yeah, it just seems like a lot of drinking. So it's a lot for his buddies, I guess you can say, of that nature. But other than that, I think the casino, because I like that atmosphere when I go to the States and I go gamble at the casino.
Yeah.
And you have the option of and I tip the waitress, whatever else. Or I like going when I go to the Buffalo Bills. I'm not a Buffalo Bills fan, but I go to the Buffalo Bills game, and you have that tailgating experience, all again within reason. But it just all came at once. I think it's just a little too much for us laid-back Canadians.
Since you've got pot.
Yeah, Jenny in the Facebook live chat, in fact, was just asking, what is it like in a nation with legalized cannabis? Are you living in reefer madness now, or did the sky not fall?
The sky doesn't fall, believe it or not.
Wow.
And it's nothing has really, except there's a lot of, I love dumb criminals stories, and I love those kind of stories that you hear. And you can see, I live on border town area with being in Niagara Falls, Canada, and Niagara Falls, New York, just literally right over the river.
Yeah.
And they have all the signs, literally, do not bring cannabis over the border.
Right.
And the amount of stories we're hearing that people are getting caught at the border with marijuana, and it seems to be 50-50 legit Americans and Canadians. Americans are trying to bring it back to wherever they are vacationing from. The Canadians are just carrying it on because it's legal.
Wow.
And it's like, come on, people.
Yeah. Well, that is, that does seem awfully risky, and it's not like you can't smell it.
No, right? And I mean, myself, I'm not a user of marijuana. I'm not against people who use marijuana. I actually believe that there are some health benefits to marijuana usage with pain and everything else of that nature.
Yeah.
Because I'm more not into pill giving, but more naturopathic.
Exactly.
And other ways instead of infusing that into your system. But yeah, I just like everyone thought like, oh my gosh, there's going to be stoners all over the place, and everyone's going to be there's. It's like another day. Nothing has changed.
Right.
It's okay.
Hey, yeah. There's a burning question down here is there's been a lot of talk about climate change, and we all know that Parliament in Ottawa is a huge igloo. Are they dealing with the problem? I mean, it's been going on and off for 10 years now.
I'm sure Doug Ford does not believe in climate change, certainly.
But the igloo.
No, Doug Ford doesn't believe in climate change at all.
Yeah.
But the igloo is melting.
Put in a carbon tax that just came out, and no fooling, April 1st, that raised up carbon tax prices and gasoline prices up. And Doug Ford is like trying to slash the carbon tax and impose it. And I believe that there is actually a lawsuit that is being done up, or if not already in the process, not yet in the courts, but just in the initial beginning stages of this carbon tax that's happening and inflicted upon Canadians.
Is is it a big spike in gas prices, or do you even notice it? Because gas prices tend to fluctuate anyway.
Exactly. Well, you know what? I've seen we're paying right now $1.16 a liter. So translate that into 4 liters in a gallon. It's about $4 or $5 a gallon we're paying.
Ooh.
But yeah,
ouch. But
when the carbon tax came in, it shot up 10 cents a liter.
Oh.
So now we're looking at anywhere between $1.24 to $1.26. But unfortunately, our Canadians out west in British Columbia, they're paying about $1.72 a liter right now.
Right.
It's almost like $7.50 a gallon for gas.
Yeah.
And they're part of that carbon tax as well, and everything that Ottawa implemented.
Okay. Yeah, Jenny in the Facebook live chat says New Hampshire could learn a few things. Guess you can keep enjoying the tourist boost on us, because of, the cannabis. And it's funny, we often lament here in New Hampshire where we are, we're surrounded by states and a country because of you guys that have all gone full legal on cannabis, and we just still can't get there. We're making progress. They finally decriminalized it here in New Hampshire, but it is still technically not legal.
No. I think if done right, because I know too, like the province of Ontario tried to do their Ontario cannabis store. And there was actually first of all, they got hacked, and there was a huge issue there that people's information got compromised and all that.
Yeah.
Then there was the fact that they were selling bad marijuana, and it was going moldy, and the delivery system was not working properly.
Ooh.
Like if it was running smoothly and got its act together, like Colorado's doing it fantastic and making like money off of it. Like I believe that it can thrive with the economy, that it could really help out, but it only has to be done right. But these few states that are down there, because I think now it's almost like 50-50 with you guys down there, that basically the states that have marijuana legal and not legal. But if we look at
I wish it was that many.
Pardon?
I said I wish it was that many. It's not 50-50 yet. We'll get there. But you'll
get there.
Yeah.
Okay. But the thing is, like, if we can look, or other people or other states or other nations can look at the platform that like Colorado has, and it's doing well, or other states that are doing it well, it can work really well and go with that. But it just seems to be like no one can understand the concept yet of how to actually make it work up here in Canada to its benefit yet.
Yeah. Well, in Colorado, I know they tax it, and I don't know if this ended up happening, but at one point they were looking at potentially giving citizens of that state tax rebates, because apparently it's in their state constitution that if they have a surplus, and I just know broad strokes about this. I'm no expert, but from what I understand, they have it's in their constitution. If they have a surplus, they have to actually rebate the taxpayers. So they're just swimming in money. But the results appear to be overall. I mean, Colorado is kind of the litmus test in the United States, even though other states have gone full legal. But everyone kind of looks to Colorado, both positive and negative, because you also have people online who oppose legalization, who talk about Colorado as though it's descended into some apocalyptic hellscape since legalizing cannabis. And I have one friend who talks about that, who says, "Oh, it's gotten so bad," and he had taken a trip out there, and I guess he's a state legislator. I won't say who it is, but he's a state legislator here in New Hampshire. And he
Did he go on a motorcycle?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And he talked to
he could benefit from it.
Yeah.
He
talked to a state legislator in Colorado who told him of a story of some kid who ended up in a coma or something because
and it would never have happened otherwise.
Because they got a hold of some edibles, and very often
all of us have been there.
and very often when someone really wants to convince you of something, all they need is just one story of anecdotal evidence, and they think that completely proves their case. I call it "I know a guy" syndrome, because everybody says, "Oh, I know a guy who got into trouble with this, and that's why you shouldn't do it, and that's why it should be illegal forever." And it's like, yeah, you know a guy, and maybe you really do know a guy, but that's that doesn't change the broader reality and circumstances of it. So, but my understanding is Colorado's done spectacularly well overall.
$6 billion last year, from $1 billion in 2016. In 18,000 jobs
in revenue from
sales, yeah,
and 18,000 jobs created because of it.
Right,
that's fantastic. I mean, how could anyone argue with that? Yeah, you might have a few more.
Exactly.
You might have a few more stoned people walking around. Big deal. Plus, I've never believed that it being illegal actually prevents anyone from doing it who wants to do it, because if it did, then why are our prisons full of nonviolent drug offenders? Which reminds me, so in Canada, Joe, when they went full legal, what about people who are already, or maybe there's not much of it, maybe there wasn't much of it up there, but what about people who are already in jail for possession and use of cannabis? Are they just...
Yeah, they would have to... there actually was... It was funny because before, or as the legalization date was approaching, it was all this talk of what was going to happen with these prisoners who were in jail because of being possessing marijuana. But after it came, the legalization and that, I've never heard specifically or any other stories about what happened to these individuals, if they got their case relooked at, or are they still serving their term? Because even I think about a month up to the legalization date, there was actually still a lot of police raids raiding the cannabis depots, or whatever you want to call them, of these stores that were still acting illegally at the time. And they busted like so many, especially like in Hamilton and Toronto and the big cities out in Vancouver and that. And they were operating for 15, 16, 17. It wasn't like they were just around for like a couple of years. They were like veterans in this. And all of a sudden, before cannabis became legal, there was like these raids that were going insane.
Yeah. Yeah, that's frustrating, and it's been it's a pet issue of mine because I oppose the drug war in its entirety, and it frustrates me that all this talk about legalization of cannabis is great, and I want it to continue, and I want something done federally, and all of that, but I also want people who have been locked up. As long as that's all they're locked up for, nonviolent drug offenders, I want them let out. I had this fantasy. Yeah. And I knew that it was obviously, I had a fantasy, and I knew that there was no chance of it happening. That on his last day in office, President Obama would sign an executive order granting an amnesty to all the nonviolent drug offenders in our prisons on his way out the door. Of course, it would be challenged and struck down in court anyway if he did that. But I thought that would be a great thing, if even only.
And it would have been overturned by President Trump, because anything that Obama did, Trump just overturned it.
Pretty much, yeah. He's the anti-Obama. That's
I know.
Part of his brand.
That's why I'm wearing the orange jacket today. He's rolled back the agreement between Major League Baseball and Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, Oh, boy. Yeah. Cuba. Canada's never has had relations with Cuba for a long, long time.
Is that true?
Oh, yeah. Isn't Norilsk, is that... Well, everybody's connected now.
It's a global world, which is redundant, I know, but...
Well, some Canadians bought what are considered U.S. assets by U.S. because they were seized by Cuba.
Oh,
so
interesting.
if we ever do normalize relations, which is ridiculous that we don't, but, it keeps everybody in Florida happy.
That's
Republicans.
True. That's true.
There's going to be a lot that has to be worked out. Ownership of assets down there.
Speaking of the globe, do they have flat earthers in Canada? We have a lot of them here.
I haven't come across any, or haven't heard of any flat earthers here in Canada. So
yeah.
No, I don't. I'm going to say no, not that much.
Yeah.
So
probably because you're closer to the North Pole, so it's you're naturally going to be more skeptical.
Yeah, I think so too.
Right. Well, that makes sense.
I think we're still trying to talk about we're close to the North Pole. We still keep our fighting to say that the North Pole, where Santa lives, is still part of Canada.
Free Nunavut.
Huh?
Free Nunavut.
Free Nunavut.
That's right.
I don't get it.
You're not supposed to.
Okay.
It's Canadian code, apparently.
Oh, wow. Well, you don't apparently you don't get it either? Can't be Canadian code then.
He's from Ontario in a border town. USA Junior.
Right, yes. How often do you get to the United States, Joe? Because you travel down here quite a bit, don't you?
Oh my gosh, do I ever? It's hilarious because what's hilarious is I do go over a bit. That's not the hilarious part. However, maybe I do probably frequent it about I would say at least 7-8 times a month. But I was coming from out east at the end of February, and I traveled from New Brunswick, but then I decided to go and drive to the States all the way back home. And they pulled me over.
Who's they?
The New Brunswick, Maine border.
Right, New Brunswick.
They didn't like the fact that I crossed over quite a bit. And they're like, why do you come here a lot? And I'm like, because I live on a border town, and this wasn't sufficient enough for them. So they I was detained for an hour. I had nothing to hide, no big deal or anything else of that nature.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh, you're just really traveling to go home. I said, yeah. And then they were like, well, why do you, I got family here in the Western New York area. I come over shopping quite a bit. I get gas quite a bit. Because even though the dollar isn't that great, you can still get some great deals. And if you make a good trip out of it, you can still do a lot of saving.
Sure. So they did.
I would say about 7 to 8 times a month.
Yeah, but they detained you for an hour, you said?
They detained me at the Maine border, yeah, for an hour.
Jeez, what a pain. Yeah.
What do you mean, the Maine New Brunswick border? New Brunswick's one of the states, isn't it?
No, New Brunswick is a province.
Come on. You're starting to talk like Glenard J. Ouellette right now.
We should annex it.
We all know it's one of the states. Why, Donald Sutherland comes from New Brunswick.
Well, we know the Trump.
Yes.
We know the Trump administration doesn't care about Puerto Rico, so maybe we could get rid of Puerto Rico and annex New Brunswick.
Why would we? We won the war in 1833, didn't we? We won New Brunswick fair and square.
Well, that's true. We could use the logic Putin used to take back Crimea. We'll take back New Brunswick. How's that sound, Joe?
Take it back.
Well, I think there was a story not so long ago where I think that
when did we lose it?
Americans from Montana were trying to sell Montana to Canada.
Really?
As if they need more of the prairie, right? The high plains.
Oh, boy.
What, were they trying to go with Ralph Klein when he was the premier of Alberta?
What's wrong with Montana? You guys don't want Montana? I actually don't mind giving them Montana.
Have you ever been to Montana?
No, that's why I don't care if they have it.
Don't fall into a mine shaft.
Oh, no. Well, geez, you're not exactly selling this Montana thing.
None of it.
Jenny in the Facebook live chat says, protecting Americans from comedians since 2016, referring to the Border Patrol there.
protecting Americans in New Brunswick, I guess.
That's right.
What I thought was really interesting and neat, though, between the American border of Maine and New Brunswick is that literally I could have, and it just boggled my mind, like just before crossing the border, it was like, say, 2 p.m., and then literally you cross over the border, it was 3 p.m., but you were like exactly in the right same spot area, just in two different countries, but because how the time zones work and
right, Atlantic time
and whatever else, it was like, wow, I can have 1 foot in one time zone and 1 foot in the other time zone.
Right.
You know, I'm just saying, when I was a kid, you know, there is no border. There is, but there wasn't. Even here in Manchester, we used Canadian because it was at par. And, you know, there was no border. Some people, one of my father's business partners, he gets busted in New Brunswick. He says, what do you mean this isn't the United States? He had no idea. He was originally from Boston. But there was, you know, you just went across, you know.
Yeah.
In their places, I mean, you know, there were major border crossings where you have to say, yeah, United States. Don't say American. They could get snippy about that. But, you know, just regular places where people live, like Caribou, Maine, you just go right across. That's not true anymore. Not since 2001.
Jenny says it's the dreaded Canadian cooking comedians build a wall. Hey, is there ever talk in Canada about building a wall to keep us out?
That's a good idea.
No, absolutely not.
Oh.
I mean, we just decide, hey, we're not going to come down and be a part of it for the 4 years that you guys are in right now. We're not coming down at all. But no wall. But it's funny though, the Canadian comedian note, because and nothing against these border patrol guys on both nations, United States and Canada, because they do a lot of work and try to protect our borders and that stuff, and your borders as well. But I remember one time, it was early morning, about 7 o'clock on a Wednesday morning, I was going over to go get gas in Western New York, and I have my face on my van advertising myself and the Joe Crawford Live website.
Yeah.
And so the American patrol officer says to me, he goes, what do you do for a living? And I go, I do singing comedy shows. And he goes to me, sing me a song. I go, you got to be kidding me. I got to sing you a song? He goes, sing me a song. I go, really? He goes, sing me a song or I will not let you into the United States. I said, really? But okay, so very badly, because I was like 7 o'clock in the morning and whatever, I was like, when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. And the guy goes, just like that, and the guy goes, yeah, don't quit your day job. Have a good day.
Wow.
But you got to kind of submit to them because you are at their mercy, right? Like,
exactly.
I could have said, no, I'm not singing you a song and argue with him, and he could have turned me back.
Right. That's true. Yeah. Well, did you tell him not to quit his day job either? Because you assume he has no actual talent? I'd have been like,
no, I just said, thank you very much, sir, and I went on to get my gas.
I would have been tempted to say, yeah, don't quit your day job either, buddy. I'm pretty sure you found your calling. You know.
And then I would have been one of those people who would have been in jail.
That's true.
You know, it's taboo. My father, he had a pistol in his car, and he was shooting across Ontario to save some time.
Shooting across Ontario. I see what you did there.
But he was going, you know, to get, because, you know, you can cut a lot of time off.
Right,
and, the woman that was he had never really had problems because, you know, he dresses well. He's a Caucasian of a certain, you know, type. He's driving his Cadillac, but she started going through his luggage. And usually if he had gone through, he had hidden it well. But this time he had it in his suitcase.
Oops.
And
Got a little careless, did he?
But as she's getting close, she says, Are you going to play with my undies or something? And she was shocked and throws the thing
Oh, that's
down.
smart. Wow, that's smart.
He would have been screwed. He's in Canada.
Yeah.
So he never did that again.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
But
Well, listen.
whether that
Great, gentlemen, I got to sign off and go.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say we've kept you on for a while, but
Now,
it's great to talk to you.
Mike Huckabee, has all the sympathy in the world for you guys over the melting igloo. But, there's little he can do because it's God's will. And that is the truth.
That's right.
About Mike Huckabee's opinion.
Yes, yes. Joe, before you go, do you want to do a quick plug for your show and your website and stuff? Do you have time?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm going to make a quick plug here, joecropperlive.com. You can check me out there and all the information of what I do, entertaining. You can see that all there, the social media, and, of course, the Joe Show. That is on Sundays at 4 p.m. online at revealingtalkradio.com. We have a lot of great celebrity guests and fun on there. And, yeah, we're on till at least the middle or end of June. And check that out, The Joe Show, Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, guys. I'm sorry kind of short, but I'm going to go see the Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh, very cool.
Do you
very
think
nice.
do you think the Generals are going to win this game this time? Do they still play the Generals?
No, I don't know if they're playing the Generals. I'm not too sure.
Oh. All right, Joe. Well, thank you so much for the call, my friend. It is wonderful to hear from you. Maybe we could, I'd love to do this more often with you, man. But thank you so much, and have a good night.
Thanks. Likewise, guys. Take care.
All right, brother. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Well, that was cool. That was a big surprise, actually. I had no idea he was going to be calling, and, legit, I haven't actually had a conversation with Joe in a long time. Well, that was cool. Always nice to hear from Joe Crawford. And like I said when I introduced the clip, that was a big surprise. Was not expecting to get a call from him. Up next on the best of Matt Connarton Unleashed, I got a couple of clips I'm going to share with you right in a row. Just to explain what you're about to hear. So Eric Gagnon, also known as Easy G, he is the entertainment reporter on the morning show with Peter White, which, of course, you can hear weekdays from 7 to 9 a.m. with a replay 2 to 4 p.m. right before this program. And Eric does occasionally pop in on Matt Connarton Unleashed as well, and he'll call occasionally. The thing about Eric on the phone is he has a tendency to interrupt and talk over people. He talks, but he doesn't really listen. And that can be a little frustrating, and not to pick on him because we love Eric. He means well. But that is one fatal flaw that he has, is he just doesn't listen when he's on the phone, even when someone in the studio is expressing concern for him. So I'm going to play a couple of clips for you of Easy G kind of getting a little bit of a dose of his own medicine because a certain cast member of Matt Connarton Unleashed, known as Virtual Dave Ridley, decided to maybe do some interrupting of his own with Eric on the phone. So I'm going to play, actually happened 2 days in a row, so I'm going to play a couple of clips for you of that very thing. This is really funny. I think you'll like this.
Do you think he's using the facilities?
Oh, he usually comes in with you. I was afraid something had happened because Peter White on the morning show, he keeps losing people.
I know.
Len hasn't been there for a while. Len Lorenz. Eric Gagnon is apparently ill.
I heard about that
there
one,
tomorrow,
yeah.
I was speculating earlier that at the rate he's going, he might get a visit. He's going to be very lonely. He might get a visit from the ghost of John McCain. Who knows?
I'm John McCain.
See,
I know,
or maybe even virtual Dave Ridley.
Yeah.
Because I have these entities that have descended upon my show. And it's like I was telling Jenny earlier, I have no control over it. The ghost of John McCain just haunts the studio
right
between 4 and 6, and virtual Dave Ridley has taken over the computer like Hal in 2001.
Right? Didn't he shut off the computer the other day? Reboot it for you?
He did.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know why. I don't know why he does. He was frustrated about something.
You don't sound like Matt.
Yeah, he gets mouthy, and it's very
You're gonna think it's an April Fool's joke. What I'm actually calling about. You're not gonna believe it, and I didn't believe it for a while. I had to research.
Yeah, see, and then he goes off on these wild tangents that don't have anything to do with anything. But did you notice the balloons? Today is the 2-year anniversary of Matt Connarton Unleashed here at WMNH 95.3 FM. And someone thoughtfully left some blue balloons.
Wow.
Isn't
That's
that
awesome.
nice? Yeah.
That's very nice.
Yes. So happy anniversary to me and of course, the ghost of John McCain and virtual Dave Ridley. And we have a call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Yeah, EDG again.
Easy G. How are you, sir? Oh, Daryl
Hey, I got
Dion.
something funny to tell you, Ben.
Daryl Dion is here,
Since
and
I've been
he's
working at the Creamland. There's a lot of the, not a lot, but a couple of the kids. Well, not really kids, but younger than me, obviously. There's one high school kid that works there.
Yes.
My new favorite, and a lot of them go to Memorial. So I said, "Well, hey, do you know young Ben Dion, the teacher?"
Oh.
Oh yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah.
For teaching yet?
Who?
I said,
Eric.
no.
Eric,
But
who's
some of
the?
them have had you for.
Who are the kids that you have there?
Have not, but most of those kids, not really kids, but they're older now, about 20 something. I know you've been working there for a couple of years, right, Ben?
Yeah, this is my it's my 5th year over there at Memorial. Who are the?
There you go. So
who are the people that knew me?
Kids, I think he's just a sophomore, so he hasn't had you yet, but he knows who you are. So it's one of my new favorite questions to ask. Do you know this guy? And how do you know Ben Dion? I said, well, he has the show on Thursday nights. Oh yeah, I've heard about that show.
Oh, heard about that show.
It means he doesn't listen.
Right,
yeah,
right.
I told him I'm on a little show called Peter White Morning Show. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I never heard of that show.
Yeah. Well,
Because it was funny the other day when the milkman left on Monday. I had to say something. My boss, Nicole, the lady owns that place, and her sister Natalie. Nicole said, "Wow, he said that radio guy. I mean, that guy that delivers the milk. He has a perfect voice for the radio." So I had to say something, you know.
well, of course.
Couldn't
The
resist.
running gag of the Peter White Morning Show is, do they know the Easy G's that work angry?
Right. Yes.
Oh,
So I told her I
okay,
was working there. I
whatever.
said, I've been talking you guys up for a couple of weeks now. She goes, wow, thanks. Free advertising.
Well, I know that Daryl Dion here is very excited to hear from you because, Daryl, you sounded, I was listening to the morning show, you sounded genuinely concerned for the health and well-being of Easy G.
I definitely was. I had returned from a bathroom trip, and he was definitely
I still have
under the
results,
weather.
but I'm thinking it's cellulitis. I just called up around 4 o'clock and asked for some results. He said the results are in, but the nurse has to read them.
He doesn't really care what I
So I'm
got to
thinking
say.
either here later tonight or I'll hear some report.
Oh, okay,
In the
whatever.
morning. I'm thinking it's cellulitis because both my feet are swelled, my legs are swelled.
How about the head?
Okay,
Is that a
okay,
head
all
swell?
right, enough of that.
Unfortunately.
Oh, sorry,
Well,
what?
like I told Matt earlier, I'll be home resting tomorrow. So
Oh, I see. Yes, I get it. All right,
on the
fine.
show.
Yes.
So you're not coming on the show tomorrow?
No, I already made
Not
that
really.
announcement earlier. Yeah. The
Okay.
doctor wants me to rest the next 4 days.
No one seems to be very excited. No idea.
So, anyways, I'll be listening to the full report tonight.
It's not. It's some Quaalude guy who's
And I already
talking about
canceled that
awful
meeting,
music.
so I'll be
And
listening to your report
no,
tonight.
no,
So,
it's not working. It's not working. Just be mad.
And,
Hey, I have something for you if you want it. Can you hang on for a sec?
Oh, I think Eric hung
Thanks,
up.
Matt. Thanks, Matt.
Virtual Dave Ridley. I just want to apologize to Easy G and everyone on behalf of Virtual Dave Ridley, who was very rude just now, just talking over Eric like that. Because Eric, of course, as we all know, would never talk over anybody.
Never.
No,
You know,
never.
especially not when someone like yourself, Daryl Dion, would be expressing great concern for Eric Gagnon. He would be so appreciative of that he would never interrupt you and talk over you. And yet, here's Virtual Dave Ridley being very rude to Eric. I just can't even believe it.
I'm no longer concerned.
Oh, good.
He's just fine.
Yes.
He seems pretty normal.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, seems pretty much like, seems like himself.
No, you don't want to use the word normal.
No, he seems like himself.
All right, we got time for one more quick call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Good morning. May I please speak to the lovely and talented Mr. Carnation?
That is me. That is one of the many variations of my name. Yes. How
are you?
Or what did Easy G call me? Mike Connarton, I think. But how are you, Brooklyn Mike?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm just calling to say congratulations, Matt, on 2 years.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That deserves an
and my prediction.
That deserves an air horn.
My prediction is you will make it to 20 years on the radio.
20 years. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That's my prediction.
That's your prediction. Well, we'll see what happens.
We'll see if we can make that happen.
Yes.
You could do it, Matt. I was hoping. I didn't know if the ECG soliloquy was over yet.
It just doesn't end. I mean, it just keeps on keeping on.
God.
I know. Well, can you believe how rude Virtual Dave Ridley was for just talking over him like that? So I'm embarrassed.
Well, yeah. Well, that only Virtual Dave would do that. He would never do it if he was live. You know what I'm saying? That's the beauty of the virtualness.
Right. That's true. Yeah, that's absolutely true. All right,
guys. I'm going to let you go. I know it's getting late. Daryl, Ben, have a great night. Have a great show.
Thanks, Brooklyn Mike.
Thank you.
All right, Brooklyn Mike. Thank you for the call, my friend.
Okay, fellas. See ya.
All right, bye-bye. Oh, and hello to Fred Bonig from the Daily Ripple, and we have another call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Oh, guys.
Oh, it's Easy G, Eric Gagnon. Eric, I want to apologize, by the way, because yesterday you called and Virtual Dave Ridley was just talking over you, and he was very rude.
Yeah.
Now we have the real one.
Oh, all right.
Yes, but I
won't take offense to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is again.
I want to get something out there before the show ends. I know soon you're going to be off the air for the weekend, but
yes, please.
Unfortunately, I won't be able to go, but the people in the audience obviously can go and support my great friend Amanda McCarthy is going to be in the house at Panucci's Music Hall tomorrow night at 9 o'clock.
Who is?
She's going to be closing the place. Amanda McCarthy.
The great Amanda McCarthy.
I had no idea.
Yeah, Virtual Dave Ridley's not familiar with her, but no,
I'm
I've interviewed.
It's a free show. There's no cover, but it is a Plus 21 show.
I'm going to get that or like
they do serve alcohol there, so.
Right.
Oh, I see. Yes, I get it. All right.
Are you allergic to alcohol?
Because I won't be able to check it out because obviously I'm supposed to be resting my feet.
That's right.
That was me knocking on your door a couple
There's
weeks
one
ago.
show I will not be able to check it out, but.
Were your feet hurting from Creamland?
Yeah.
What?
Are you going to be watching, the greatest customer Creamland ever had was Ted Gatzis. He's got a horse in the Kentucky Derby. Did you know that, Easy G?
Yeah, I heard about that.
That's exciting.
I hope to own it next year.
Wow.
Are you still on about that?
What did you say? I'd have to pwn it next year? What?
No, I hope to own it next year after I sue his pants
like
out.
You guys have a great weekend. I know your show's running out of time. So.
You could have your show yanked
We'll
off
talk to you
the
guys
air,
later.
or there could be protests at your offices or something over something like that.
Oh, once again, I have to apologize to EZG Eric Gagnon. Can you believe Virtual Dave Ridley just talking over him like that? That's terrible.
How'd he hurt his feet?
Okay, I'm done. I gotta go.
Virtual Dave Ridley, please. Next thing you know, the ghost of John McCain is going to start just rambling on nonsensically about whatever.
We should be able to deliver bottled hot water to dehydrated babies.
It's out of control. It's pandemonium in here. My goodness.
Well, he should know he was able to deliver jellied gasoline to burn the flesh off of Vietnamese babies.
Well, I suppose. But
I have never been an astronaut, but I think I know the challenges of space.
And he's going to be the head of the Space Force.
Well, yeah, we're all really impressed, Ghost of John McCain.
Just put it on the books, put some money aside from it, pay people off, and let's just forget the nonsense of like the F-35 or these new aircraft carriers. They're junk.
By the way, hello to Rhonda Ostrowitz-Favero in the Facebook live chat. Oh, very well done. She says 5 and 6 year olds sucking on pacifiers here in California. Oh my goodness.
Why are they doing that?
I don't know.
It's going to ruin their teeth.
No. She also says, I remember Archie Bunker for President shirts back in the 70s.
Well, getting back to it, it's not that, the situation in the inner city schools was horrific, which I thought would have been better, and I'm still of the opinion, reparations, giving black folk capital under their control to use in the schools they have. But
you're exactly right.
I'm just saying, to understand the people and the idea, sending your kid into an inner city school, which was horrific, and there were higher levels of violence tracking with poverty, not race.
Right, exactly.
There was going to be a reaction against it, and it was a top-down thing from the courts.
Yeah.
And there was a reaction. People react against it. And I remember I love Mike Dukakis. I went through him the entire thing, even down to his miserable defeat in 1988.
You're about his height.
No, he's taller than me, but not
Is he
by
really?
much.
Oh.
And he is short. But, it's what Mike Barnacle said, friend of Lou D'Alessandro. He's in Brookline, and they're imposing this stuff on Boston. It's tearing the city apart, because of the idea, you were in your neighborhood. People didn't move as much then. When you went up in social class, because of the schools and everything, you get better schools. Suddenly you're being torn away from that. Mike Dukakis is in Brookline, upper middle class suburb, let's put it that way. Why didn't they include them in the busing plan? And they didn't.
By the way, Ed Murphy says, exactly, John, it's poverty, not race. Absolutely.
No, it is.
I agree.
And the violence.
I agree.
And the violence.
Yeah.
And when you talk about scores and everything, I've gone through PTSD. And they have actually talked at the school committee here, talking about what the kids go through. I'm sure that people that live in an inner city they have a form of PTSD.
Right.
And of course, that would create problems. But it was just a situation that was horrific. It didn't work. People pulled their kids out. The schools collapsed utterly. And it was a big reason, one of the reasons why the Republicans, the Reagan Democrat, because racism is just something like you just said. It seems that racism is in every race, everybody, and it's just like some shorthand thinking. You just go to that. Well, you're different and that.
Yeah.
But they're talking about reparations in this current campaign. I worked on a project of reparations, 12 years ago, and I was in New York in the publishing industry. I figured it was $3 trillion then.
Yeah.
That would be owed. But to give black folk their own capital, but that's an ideal world, and
yeah, well,
because there's always the people in cahoots, the straw bosses with the man that are going to steal as much of that money as they can. What was the guy, Ron Brown, who was Commerce Secretary?
He died in a plane crash. Yeah.
In Clinton's campaign.
Yep.
He took advantage of a law that was to counter redlining in African American communities.
Yeah.
Redlining is you don't give mortgages over the red line.
Yeah.
They're risks.
Let's grab this call, and then we got to go. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, this is Easy G again. John, unfortunately, I have cellulitis again.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks.
Both my legs
That was
and
me
both my
knocking
feet,
you a couple
so I
weeks
got to
ago,
stay
by the
off
way.
my feet
I
to try to get myself better with the antibiotics.
Yes.
Well, good luck, because you seem to be doing well at Creamland.
No fun, believe me. It's nothing.
Okay. All right, enough of that.
My work enemy.
Well, good luck to you.
painful.
If you can make it, Easy G, at Billy's Sports Bar Sunday, the 14th from 4 to 8, we're having a remembrance.
I'll take a pass because I got to rest up.
Are you allergic to beer?
I'll be
Not
there
really.
in spirit.
Joel Elber's going to be there.
Not really.
Yeah, Joel.
Sorry.
Well, everybody should
alrighty.
come to Billy's. You can have some iced
Are you
tea.
still on about that?
Yes, I am, Dave.
Oh, okay.
That mesh network is a pain in the keister.
I know. All right, we do have to go. Thank you, Easy G, for the call. Thank you, Dave Ridley, for calling. Thank you to Joe Crawford, the great Joe Crawford from the Joe Show. Be sure to check out Joe Crawford.
Is he related to Sam Crawford, the great baseball player, Hall of Famer?
I think so. I think they are all related. Thank you, John Hopwood, for popping in. Thank you to everybody in the Facebook live chat. We got to go.
And I'm looking so forward to Monday when we have the big switch over to your new format. And as part of the second year celebration, hopefully I'll have the new hat. What?
Should I tell him? Nah.
What you say?
Oh, never mind. We'll see you Monday. Oh, hello to Tony Petrillo in the Facebook live chat. Says Eric is allergic to life. LOL.
I want a pacifier.
Oh my goodness. So there you go. A little bit of Easy G. Eric Gagnon getting a taste of his own medicine. That's all right. We love him. We really do. It's all the picking on him that we do is done with affection. You're listening to the best of Matt Connarton Unleashed. By the way, when the show is live, we do broadcast not only live on FM on WMNH 95.3, but it also goes out on Comcast 97 in Manchester. And, of course, is streaming worldwide at WMNHradio.org. And we do have a lot of people who listen actually across North America online. So very, very grateful for that as we continue to build our audience. And, of course, on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page. And if you haven't given that a like, please do so. We would love it. And that's a great way to interact with the show. All right, so we're going to keep this going. We have another clip for you. I think we played on a previous best of my first conversation with this caller, Father Bruno Sarducci, the nephew of Father Guido Sarducci, calling all the way from the Vatican in Rome. Well, he called back recently. And not only did he call back to have a little conversation, but he compared President Trump to the Pope, and he serenaded us. It was quite the eventful discussion. So let's go to that. That's our next clip. Here it is, Father Bruno Sarducci. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
This is Father Bruno Sarducci. Hello, Matt.
Oh, my goodness. Father Bruno Sarducci. How are you, sir?
I watch you all the time.
All the way from the Vatican.
Facebook page.
Oh, very
I'm
nice.
your friend.
Yes. Thank you for friending me on Facebook, Father. It's wonderful.
Yeah, but, I love WikiLeaks. I love it.
You love WikiLeaks?
I love WikiLeaks.
Now, what is it that you love about it, Father Bruno?
I love information.
Yes.
I love information.
Yes.
And WikiLeaks has lots of information. And I love it. I don't know why, but I know, Donald Trump, he like it too.
Oh, yes. Well, today he claimed that he doesn't know anything about WikiLeaks.
He's just playing it closer to the chest.
Yes.
Even the Pope, he love a WikiLeaks.
Really?
But they never get any Vatican information. It's impossible.
Right. Of course. Yes. Well,
we don't use a computer. We're not getting into that game. We know how that ends.
Right. No, I understand.
No
Father.
email. No text, no nothing. We write it down, then we burn it up.
That's probably wise for a variety of reasons. But let me ask you this, Father. So if Julian Assange could somehow manage to get there, would you offer him asylum at the Vatican?
Yeah, we don't get into the asylum thing too much. We've had a few legal problems here in the Vatican.
Well.
We're trying to keep our nose clean now because, it costs a lot of money to shut people down. Kind of like Donald Trump. You gotta pay people off. They call it a lawsuit, but you know what it is. It's a payoff.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, but But the Pope, he's behind Donald Trump 110%.
Oh, that surprises
me. He's just like Donald. He's just like him.
Really?
Except he's not married, to anybody.
Right.
Not married to Melania, beautiful woman,
Right.
I get it. I get Donald Trump totally, 100%. I get him. And he love a WikiLeaks, too.
Right. I was kind of under
I hope you don't use no computer, because they're going to get it.
I was kind of under the impression, though, that the Pope didn't necessarily agree with President Trump on things like immigration and a border wall and things like that.
Yeah, we got to make it look good. We got a lot of parishioners in South America.
Yes.
We got to make it sound good.
Right. No, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
We don't want to lose them. They got a lot of collection plates, going through the South American cathedrals. It's a business decision.
Right. Well, that makes complete sense, Father. I can understand that entirely. You have a lot of parishioners down there.
You know, but WikiLeaks, it doesn't get any better than that. You know, we like a little gossip here too. You know,
Yes.
but you know, we're not going to send any emails. I guarantee you that.
Yes,
And
yes.
I hear Donald Trump. He doesn't use email. You know, he's not going to get involved with that. He's too smart for that.
Yes.
But, you know, like our Pope is just like Trump. He's just like him.
Really?
I mean, he didn't act like him. He puts on a different act. You know, he gets on the, you know, waves his arms. He's on the patio. You know, waving at people. But you know, inside, he's just like a Trump.
Oh my goodness.
And just like a Trump, he's infallible.
Infallible, yes, absolutely.
He's infallible.
Absolutely.
You know? Trump don't make no mistake, and the Pope, he don't make no mistake.
I can kind of picture the Pope and like taking off the giant Pope hat there, putting on a Make America Great Again hat. I can picture that.
Well, no, see, we can't do that. You know?
Well, I mean,
we can't do that. But, you know, Matt, you know, I call you so many times. You know, I watch your show.
Yes.
But you know, and I love you, Matt. I love the way you do your show. But that woman you had on your show, she arguing with you.
I know,
you
right?
Know, that was bad.
Now that's
you know, I couldn't understand it. You need to shut her down.
Oh my goodness!
You know, I had a nun like that doing my show with me. You know, she wouldn't shut up. You know, she contradicting me. You know, making crazy talk. You know,
right?
She was a nice Catholic girl. You know, but you know, had to get rid of her. You know.
Oh my goodness!
So
wow.
You know, she went kicking and screaming. But you know, we had to excommunicate her. I think she's a Lutheran now.
Oh my goodness, she's a Lutheran. Well,
not as good as a Catholic. You know, my Luther, he had a few problems with the church.
Well, yes,
but we had crushed him. You know,
that's true. Yeah. I like girls in nuns' habits. How about you, Father? Or you're not allowed to do that, I guess.
Well, you know, we see them. You know,
yes.
they look fine. You know, it's a little bit different here. The nun costume is a little bit different.
Yes, of course.
Even my costume, it's a little bit different than what you see in the States.
Oh, is it?
I've been to the States. It's a nicer place.
Yes, absolutely. Well, how could it not?
But you know, Donald Trump. You know, I'm very happy for him. The Pope and I, we talk about it all the time. And Donald Trump completely exonerated. He's smooth sailing from here on in to 2024.
You should have him as a guest on your show. Don't you do a show there from the Vatican?
Yeah, of course we do a show. You know,
yeah.
You know, we have our own spectrum. It's a little bit higher than yours. You got to have a special permission.
Wow.
The Vatican spectrum, it's special Catholic spectrum.
It's like a shortwave or something, right? It's like
but this is what I don't understand. You know, I got a Facebook Live page too. You never come on. You never call me. Well, what is that? I call you. You never call me. Well, what is that?
Well, you know, I don't know quite how to reach you, Father. You know, I've asked for guidance, you know, but my prayers have not been answered, so I'm not sure how to get in touch with you.
Yeah, okay. You know, you're making some excuses, but you're making me feel bad. You know, I'm feeling the bad.
Oh, I'm sorry,
because you never call me.
Oh.
You never watch my show. And, you know, it's a one-way relationship. I can see that.
There is a reason, Father, and I'm embarrassed to say this, but I am myself very much a lapsed Catholic. I've not been to church in a very long time, and I feel a little self-conscious about it.
Well, as you should, sir. You should feel self-conscious.
I do.
And you should come back to the church because, you know, the church it's a beautiful. You know, kind of like the Vatican. You ever been to the Vatican?
I don't know if I'd be allowed either, Father, and that's another thing I'm a bit self-conscious about.
We welcome everybody into the Vatican. You know, we got guards there. They don't wear uniform, nothing. You know, people don't know who they are. We got plenty of guards if anything, you know, goes wrong. But,
I just you
Vatican's a great place, and you should come and you should watch my radio. You should listen to my radio show or watch it on my Facebook page. But listen, I'm telling you about something. We're doing something entirely different now.
Oh.
Yeah, we're doing the Vatican. We're getting into the movie business.
You are? Ooh.
Oh, yeah. We're getting into the movie business.
Vatican
a lot of money
films.
in it. If you got the right subject matter, and we're doing a movie. We're doing Exodus. We're going to remake it.
You are? That's exciting.
Yeah. The Catholics are going to take over Jerusalem.
Oh my
goodness!
Be back. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm going to be in the movie.
You are. You're a thespian.
The Pope has already told me I get a good role in the movie.
Oh, Are you going to have a big part? Are you the starring role? Are you like a leading man?
It's going to be a pretty big part because I get to sing the Exodus song. You know that? You know that
do?
song?
No, I don't know that song, actually. The Exodus
Oh,
song?
yeah. I'm going to sing a little bit of it to you, in a few minutes. But I just want to tell you, I'm a singer. In addition to being an important radio host for the Vatican, I'm also a singer, and I do editorials. But mostly I like to sing, and I was a choir boy.
You were?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I was a choir boy. Yeah. A soloist. Yeah.
Wow.
But there was no priest. They never touched me.
Well, that's good.
This is you hear that scandal, but it's a made up story.
It's all overblown, I'm sure. Yes.
Yeah, it's overblown. It never happened. It's a made up story.
Right. Yes.
Fake.
Fake news.
It's a fake story, and it never happened, and because the Catholics, they're good people,
Yes.
We got some character. We got some morality.
Yes. Wow, that's...
But in the United States, who knows what happens here? But no father ever touched me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Never touched me in a private place. Never happened.
Here, that's they call that fake news here in America.
Fake news, yeah. It wasn't even news, but I mean, people, they're always going to try to get some money,
Mm-hmm. That's right, yes.
They're going to try to get money, and they're going to use a made-up story, a hoax.
Right.
Make us look bad.
Sure.
And but we're not. We're good. Like Donald Trump. We're good people.
Absolutely.
And we're just trying to, spread the good news. You know what I'm saying?
I understand. Yes. Very exciting.
Okay, now listen. I want you to be quiet during this.
Yes.
Because I'm gonna give you a little bit of my song.
Oh, lovely.
In Exodus.
Lovely. Okay.
And we got the priests here. We got a little band. We got the Vatican band here.
You have a band with you, a Vatican band.
We got the Vatican band.
Are they all priests as well?
You got to be quiet though when I'm doing it. You got to respect me.
Oh, of course.
Not like that girl you had on your show. She shouldn't respect you. So you got to shut her down. Excommunicate her. We excommunicated our woman. The nun, but she lived. In the old days, we would have cut her head off.
Well, she's not. She
burned her at the stake. But we're more civilized now.
Yeah. Well, Jenny isn't Catholic, so you know how that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So let me give you a little taste, huh?
Yes.
You can dip your beak into this. Hit it, boys.
Ooh.
I hope you're hearing this, Matt.
I can. Yes.
You're sounding good.
It's fantastic. Ooh.
This land is mine. God gave this land to me. This brave and ancient land to me. And when the morning sun reveals her hills and plains, then I see a land where the children can run free. Okay, stop it, guys.
Ooh.
So what do you think?
Father Bruno Sarducci, that was beautiful. It brought a tear to my eye. Or that might just be my allergies and my eyes are watering. I'm not sure, but that was beautiful.
Yeah. I'm going to give it my best. I'm not perfect now. It's been a long time since I've been a choir boy, but I'm gonna get into it. I'm gonna be a star. Maybe I even get Academy Award or something.
Oh, I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Yeah. And listen, you got to clean up your show. Last time I come on, there was a Peter White guy there.
Oh,
the guy's got no charisma.
Oh my goodness!
Now, you got to keep him off, and the woman that you were with, you got to get rid of her, and you got to get somebody that's going to sit there and agree with you. You don't need a big argument about Julian Assange, who is my personal hero. I got to tell you.
Yes.
Because this guy's got the information, and he's giving it to the people. That's only right.
Well, I do have the ghost of John McCain with me as my official co-host, and he's very agreeable.
I'm John McCain.
Yeah. He didn't make it to heaven, though. I got to tell you, he didn't make it.
Oh, that's too bad. Is he in purgatory?
Yeah,
where is he now?
He made a few mistakes.
Oh, right. Is it because...
starting with getting captured, you know?
Well, that's true. That disqualifies him from being a war hero. Plus, there was that whole savings and loan thing in the 80s.
Yeah, and he was singing like a bird, you know, and when he's in that prison, you know, he's ratting out the United States.
Oh,
it's
my
not
goodness.
good.
Oh, no. Well,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh.
you know, we take care of that. You're not going to see that in the Vatican.
no, that's probably why he continues to haunt me. He's stuck here.
Hey, listen, you know, I got to go now because I got to meet my cousin. My cousin is, we're going to be rehearsing, you know, he's a piano player.
Oh.
And I'm going to rehearse in some of the songs so I get it down, you know, perfect. And his name is Giuseppe Sarducci. He's a brother.
Giuseppe?
He's not a priest.
Is
But
it
a very talented guy, you know.
Giuseppe or Giuseppe? How do you say that?
Giuseppe.
Giuseppe. Okay.
Giuseppe. You know, you don't have to say it right. You're an American. We don't expect too much.
That's that's
But
probably
listen, you
better.
know, it's been good talking to you. And tell you what.
Yes.
Tell you what, Matt.
Yes.
Next time you call me, okay?
All right, I'll call you
I don't
next
want to
time,
feel
Father.
bad. Next time you call me, be nice, okay?
I will always be. You're a man of the cloth. I could never be anything but nice to you, Father.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
All right, Father. Bye-bye. All right. Well, that was what a nice surprise to hear from Father Bruno Sarducci. I believe he's the nephew of Father Guido Sarducci, and what a wonderful song he sang, and that deserves an air horn, I think. I think that I think that even Virtual Dave Ridley enjoyed that.
Yeah.
There you go, and you know how hard he is to. He's very difficult to please, Virtual Dave Ridley.
Okay, whatever.
I think Virtual Dave Ridley is, well, I mean, the actual Dave Ridley is a musician. I don't know if Virtual Dave is, but that was lovely. Thank you so much, Father Bruno Sarducci, calling all the way from the Vatican in Rome. That has to be very pricey. Always so nice to hear from Father Bruno Sarducci. I really enjoyed our discussion, as I always do. All right, so we have one more clip for you that, on this edition of the Best of Matt Connarton Unleashed. And you might be thinking, one more clip, but it's still pretty early in the show. Well, it's a long one. But I had a recent conversation with frequent guest, Dr. John D. Rich Jr. He hosts a show online called Dr. John's Neighborhood. And he joined me by phone, but oddly enough, we kept getting interrupted by a certain entity who recently became a permanent fixture on the show. And it was the first time that Dr. Rich met this particular entity. You'll understand what I mean if you haven't figured it out already when you hear the clip. And so here it is, my recent conversation with Dr. John D. Rich Jr. and the entity. And I have to push the right button to answer it. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Hey, screw Glenn R.J. Ouellette.
How dare you?
National Vietnam Veteran Day. I'm switching my vote to the ghost of John McCain.
You're switching your vote. My goodness. All right. John Hopwood switching his vote in our poll to the ghost of John McCain. There you go. We'll allow that. We'll allow you to switch a vote. So if you're just joining us, well, hello to my old friend Phil Denoncourt. The third, but I just growing up, I just knew him as Phil Denoncourt. He joins us in the Facebook live chat. Hello, Phil. So if you're just joining us, of course, the poll is still up. If you don't know the poll that John Hopwood was referring to with that call, it is up on the Matt Connarton Unleashed Facebook page, and Jenny did put a link to it in the Facebook live chat. You can vote until 4 p.m. on Monday. That's when we'll be tallying up the final results. Who is winning the war of words, this ongoing feud between President Donald Trump and the ghost of Senator John McCain? Who do you think is in the lead? And with John switching his vote to the ghost of John McCain, I'm telling you, right now, without giving away any of the numbers, right now, the ghost of John McCain is crushing President Trump in this. It's
you're exactly right.
Yes. Hello to Dottie Davis Thompson in the Facebook live chat. Hello, Dottie. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Oh, hi. It's Representative Hamer.
The Honorable Representative Heidi Hamer. How are you?
I'm wonderful.
Are you calling to vote in our poll?
Yes. Could Could you tell me the poll again, please?
So the poll is, who is winning in this current feud? It's really the hottest feud in Washington, D.C. between President Donald Trump and the ghost of Senator John McCain. Who do you think is in the lead, getting the better of his opponent in this war of words?
The ghost.
The ghost of John McCain. Wow.
Absolutely.
That's incredible, Heidi. I'll tell you, everybody's voting for the ghost of John McCain. I mean, he's really, this may be his greatest victory over our president.
We'd never vote for Trump. I've never voted for Trump, and I never will.
Ah, in any kind of poll, I understand. Is that why you're calling, Heidi? Or do you have...
Yes.
Oh, very nice. Okay, I didn't know if you had something else on your mind, but this poll, I'll tell
No.
you, it's on fire. Everybody's voting. Everybody's excited. I should have done this sooner.
Oh, we're going to go try out the new Trader Joe's too.
Oh, very nice. Where is that?
Yes, in Bedford.
In Bedford.
Along with everybody else.
Oh.
They just opened today.
Oh, very nice. Well, that is outstanding, Heidi. Yes. And will you be attending Glenn R.J. Willette's production of Our Town? He's a big star now, you know.
We can't wait. I hope they bring out the birthday cake.
There's a birthday cake in the play? I didn't know that. Well, I'm going to that. I had no idea.
Well, wasn't there the birthday cake that he froze?
Oh, right. Yes. The cake that no one was allowed to eat, proving that you can't always have your cake and eat it too. Sometimes you can have your cake, but you have to put it in a freezer.
I guess it's frozen in different spots in Manchester, from what I recall.
Yes, that's right. You're right. Yes, the cake was divided up, I believe, and put safely tucked away in various freezers around the city, which I think is a fantastic idea. If we're ever invaded and a foreign entity comes onto our shores looking for the cake, they're never going to be able to put the whole thing together.
Nope, they never will.
It's quite brilliant, actually.
Yes. Okay, well, have a good day.
All right, Heidi, thank you for the call.
The show.
Thank you very much. Enjoy Trader Joe's. All right, bye-bye. All right, the great, the Honorable Heidi Hamer. She is a New Hampshire state representative, so wonderful to hear from her. And let's see, we have another call. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Who's this?
Did Heidi Hamer just vote for the ghost of John McCain?
She also voted for the ghost of John McCain. Yes.
Switch my vote back.
Oh, my goodness. Really? Oh, all right. Well, it looks like the ghost of John McCain just lost a vote. John Hopwood calling back to switch his vote back to President Trump. But I have to tell you, the ghost of John McCain is still way, way ahead in this poll.
I'm very happy with where we are.
Yeah, well, I don't blame you. You're crushing it. You are crushing it, Senator. Do you still say, I mean, I know that even, if someone's a senator, even once they leave office, you still call them senator, but you still call them senator when they're a ghost. I don't know how that works. I don't have a lot of experience communicating with politicians in the afterlife. I did have a very strange experience many years ago, however, with a journalist in the afterlife. It was, remember Bob Novak? I mean, he died, what was it? It's probably more than 10 years ago now, but he was a co-host on Crossfire. Remember that show, Crossfire on CNN? He had passed away. And there was one night I remember coming home. I get into the apartment building where I was living at the time. It was a true story. I get home from work. It was at night. I walk into the apartment building. I'm walking down the hall, and I swear to God, from the other side of the door of my apartment, I heard Crossfire. And I was like, oh, my God, what's going on? And I opened the door. I thought Bob Novak was in there. I thought he'd risen from the dead, but he was nowhere to be found. So I was haunted by the ghost of Bob Novak. Crossfire. That was the one thing I liked about him, except, boy, that didn't sound good in my headphones. I probably, apparently my Bob Novak impression, which is awful to begin with, is not something I should be doing into this microphone. It is exactly 4:30. This may be our guest. Hello, is this Dr. John D. Rich Jr.?
No, and there's no cake in our town.
Well, that's disappointing. All right. There's no cake in our town. Well, as long as it's in Manchester somewhere, the cake. Oh, let's see. Bob Burl says it was Pete. Oh, yes, Pete. Our friend Peter Cochran. Hi, welcome to Matt Connarton Unleashed. Is this Dr. John D. Rich Jr.? Hello?
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 Hi.
Is this John? Hey, how are you? How are you doing?
Okay.
Haven't talked to you in...
Are we on the air?
We are live on the air.
Holy moly.
I know.
I'm back on the radio.
I even have... I brought the air horn in especially for you because it's been so long.
Okay.
That's an exclusive air horn.
Do air horns make you think of me for some reason?
Yes. I don't know what it is. I don't use the air horn for anything else. I only use it and will only use it going forward for when you join us on the show.
Wow.
That's a special air
horn. We'll have to get back into the regular rotation again.
Yes, yes.
Things have been busy.
That would be lovely. And by the way, before I forget, do you have you cast your vote, or do you want to cast a vote in our poll that we have going on online?
Maybe. What's the poll about?
The poll is, who do you think is currently winning the ongoing war of words, this feud that has engulfed all of Washington, D.C., between President Donald Trump and the ghost of Senator John McCain? Right now you laugh, but right now the ghost of John McCain is crushing it by like 10 to 1 in this poll.
I'm very happy with where we are.
And he's been haunting the studio.
Well, I mean, I'm only laughing just because I don't believe in ghosts. So, like, from a literal standpoint, I guess Trump would have to be winning because he's the only one that's actually saying anything.
Oh, so you're voting for Trump. I don't know what more proof you need. I mean,
I'm John McCain.
See? I mean, clearly the ghost of John McCain.
Is he there in the studio?
He is here in the studio.
Wow.
I mean, you can't see him on camera because he's a ghost. But somebody.
So what does he say about the fact that perhaps he's not a hero because he was captured? Does he have a retort for that?
I have a clear record of bipartisanship.
Oh, he's dodging the question there. He is dodging the question there. That's
well, that's for it. He's a politician, that's for sure.
You know, that's an interesting statement, isn't it? Those kind of remarks are very hurtful.
Oh, there we go. Just took him a minute to get to it. You know, those kind of remarks are very hurtful, apparently. So even in the afterlife, the ghost of John McCain is still very hurt by President Trump's comments.
He won't rest until he's vindicated, apparently.
Apparently. That must be what it is. I'm going to have to get one of my ghost hunter, ghost chaser friends, whatever you call them in here, and do something about that, because
that requires a cool hand at the tiller.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does, Ghost of John McCain.
Was there a sale like on your favorite sound app?
No, that's
John McCain quotes.
No. Now look, here's what happened. So because I started this poll, apparently I summoned his ghost. I've been doing some reading. So I've been doing some research online, and it turns out anytime you have any sort of online poll or questionnaire or contest or anything that involves dead people, you do in fact run the risk of piercing the veil, as they say, and bringing forth an entity. I didn't know that. I didn't know that going in. I mean, I'm not saying I regret it. I don't want to hurt his feelings. He's been through enough.
Well, it would be interesting then. I've run into my fair share of Southerners who are still making the claim that the Civil War was not about slavery. So perhaps you could do a poll and summon the ghost of Abraham Lincoln to find out whether or not that was his intent.
How exciting would that be? Here's my one concern about that, though. So, because I don't know how this works. Like, what if the ghost of Abe Lincoln were to appear, but I don't recognize him because, like, I don't know if when you go into the afterlife, if you bring your beard and your big hat with you. So he could show up here and I might not know it's him if he doesn't have his beard and his big hat.
Yeah. Well, maybe you could ask them how old somebody who was 1 year older than 86. Maybe you could say, if you met someone and they were 86 and then the next day it was their birthday, how old would they be? And then if he says 87, then maybe then you would know
that
it was him.
That's a good idea.
Because who else would answer that way?
Yeah, that's true. That's true, yes.
Yes.
Yes. The ghost of John McCain agrees.
McCain thinks, yeah.
They're probably hanging out, I mean, they were both Republicans.
Right.
So,
Well, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, so there you go.
Is there a separate heaven for the Republicans?
I think heaven is for the Republicans, according to most of the Republicans I know. Like you, you get to heaven and you meet God, and he's got this big desk he sits behind with the giant portrait of Ronald Reagan on the wall behind him and a big American flag. It's all very exciting.
Are there any porn stars up there? Just in case.
I would guess no.
You wouldn't know?
Or
you would say no.
I would guess that there are not.
No.
Okay.
Oh, the ghost of John McCain says no.
McCain is saying no. Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. There you go. So what is new with you, Doctor?
Well, I mean, when I was coming on the show all the time, you would continually ask me about my book, and I would keep saying, we're still editing it. It's not out yet or whatever. But now it's finally out.
The book is out
for a couple of weeks.
Excellent. Congratulations.
The book is out. You can find it. You can go on my website, and there's a way to order it through that. You can go on Amazon. It's on Barnes & Noble. It's also at the Library of Congress, but you can't buy it from them.
Right.
But the name of so there are 3 books, actually. The main book is called Positive Parenting. So you'd search that title, and if you needed to fine-tune the search even more, my name is John D. Rich Jr.
Yes.
So that would come up. So that's the main book. And then there's another book that goes along with it that's like a workbook, where over the course of the main book I have activities for you to do, or journaling that I'm asking you to do to try to think about how your parents raised you, and think about some behaviors that your child is exhibiting that you might want to address, etc. So that one is called Practical Parenting, and that's the workbook. And then there's a third book, and it's called How Did You Get Him to Eat That? And what that is so the main book walks you through a strategy for identifying a behavior that you'd like to see your child exhibit, and then how can you use some of the psychological techniques that I talk about to try to make that more likely to happen.
Okay.
So the eating book is an example. It's a small book that just takes that issue. Like if one of your goals as a parent is to raise a child who will make healthy eating choices, then it walks you through how you would go through those steps to try to create that outcome.
Okay. Now, so when you say it's 3 books, is it a 3-book set, or is it 3 books bound together in one book, or how does that?
Well, so you can, so the main book is the print version is $20, the ebook is $10, and then the workbook is, I believe, $16, and then the smaller book is $10.
Oh, okay.
But you don't have to buy them all together. You could buy just the main book if you wanted to, or you could buy the book and the workbook, which would probably be my recommendation. And then if the eating one appeals to you, then that's also, you can tie them together into a bundle, but you don't have to buy the whole bundle.
Oh, cool. Okay. All right. Very cool. Is this your first book, or, set of books or group of books, whatever the terminology would be?
It's my first book. It's my first book that is not an academic book.
Okay.
So I wrote a textbook at one point about research methods, which is really only obtainable if you're in academic circles.
Right.
So this is the first book that I've written for regular people who aren't academics. And the goal of the book and my website, which is drjohnrich.com, is to try to take the very latest research on effective parenting and then describe it by taking all the jargon out and just using plain language and stories and examples and stuff, because my opinion is that academics write things in academic journals, and the only people who ever get to see them are other academics.
Right.
And it just seems like there's a lot of great information that parents who want to raise good kids can have access to, but you have to pay to subscribe to those journals, and I don't have to pay because of my affiliation with the university, so I have access to them. And even if you did have access, a lot of people wouldn't be able to even decipher what is being said in a lot of the articles because of all the statistical language and all of the design vocabulary. And so I'm trying to give you the benefit of what the research is saying parents ought to do or things that they should consider without having to wade through the dictionary every 5 seconds.
Okay. Very good. Hello to Fred Bonig, who joins us in the Facebook live chat from the Daily Ripple. And Jenny,
Hello, Fred.
Jenny has a question. She says,
Jenny!
Yes. She says, how does he feel about those who wish to parent without gender? Oh, great question. Do you have a position on that?
Okay, so there's actually a section in the book that talks about gender, and so the spin that I would have on that is that if you raise children or if you yourself are tied into very strict gender stereotypes, you're missing out on a full human experience. So boys tend to be socialized when there's a problem to tough it out and to try to, be a man, stop being a crybaby, or worse, being called names that are basically saying you're being like a girl. And so they don't get the benefit of being able to fully express the feelings that they're having. And that's not good. That stunts people's growth to not be able to express their emotions.
Right.
On the other side, girls tend to be brought up, if they're brought up in a stereotypical fashion, when the girl is having a problem, a lot of times the parents will come in and rescue her. They don't necessarily try to work through the problem and ask her to be brave and courageous and try to figure out a solution to it. But instead they jump in and, treat her with kid gloves. And so as a result, she's allowed to express her feelings, but she doesn't get the benefit of what the boys are being taught. And it seems like both of those are important. We need kids to learn to face up to their problems and to be courageous, and also to be allowed to express the feelings that they're having along the way. So I don't know if that directly answers the question that she's asking, but that's how the book talks about gender roles.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I would think, and and as we've discussed, I'm not a parent. I have no children, but I would tend to think that I would want to, if I had children, raise them without necessarily a heavy emphasis on, imposing some sort of gender roles on them, but rather just kind of, if it's a boy and he wants to play with dolls, or if it's a girl and she wants to play with trucks. I mean, obviously that's a hypersimplification of things, but just saying that, it isn't something that I think needs to be forced or even particularly guided in any direction. You just kind of let that go naturally and let them be who they are. And, I don't know if I'm articulating that very well.
It always strikes me that when somebody goes into panic mode because the girl is too much of a tomboy or the boy is too much of a quote-unquote sissy, and I'm not using that, I'm putting it in quotes so that nobody thinks, that I'm using that and approving of that term.
Right, of course.
that to go into panic mode when that happens comes from the kind of antiquated idea that you can do certain things to make sure that people don't turn out to be gay or don't turn out to be lesbian, or that people who are not heterosexual or outside of the norm are deficient, or perhaps that's a mental illness or something like that. And none of that, the psych community doesn't believe any of that.
Right.
So there's no reason to be worried about a boy who's playing with dolls, because he's not necessarily attracted to dolls because
right.
he wants to come out of the closet.
Right.
He's using his imagination, and the dolls are there.
Right. Right.
But I might even say if he's playing with dolls and then later he ends up being gay, then okay, so he's gay. There you go. That's it.
Right. Right.
And so what?
Right, exactly. Yeah, no, I agree. Jenny says yes. That did answer her question.
Good. Okay.
So it's great, but you said that there is a part about that in the book that you do address that.
There's an entire chapter that talks about gender issues, and I felt like it was necessary to talk about that because a lot of the writing that I do is advocating this idea of positive parenting, which by definition, in my opinion, means that you take spanking off of the table.
Yeah, agreed.
There's no reason to be using violence against your children, especially if one of your goals for your children is that they are peaceful people.
Right.
They're not going to learn that. In fact, that was your own father's message, right? You can't teach a child not to solve problems with violence if you're using violence to solve problems.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's what my mom my mom told me, that's why she and my dad, made a conscious decision before I was even born that they were not going to spank me, because they didn't want to teach me that that's how you resolve conflict is through hitting somebody. So I think that and I think they were correct.
To me, that's a fantastic example of what the point of the book is, which is just trying to encourage people to think intentionally about the traits and virtues and characteristics that you would like your children to possess when they grow up, and then to be consistent in your language and your behavior and your actions and the lessons that you're trying to teach, so that all seems like a pretty recognizable picture to them. So back to the gender issue, the reason the gender issue had to come up is because when I write about spanking, I invariably get trolls out there who say that I must be gay, or I'm going to make my kids gay, or something or other, whatever. And it got me thinking, like, oh, that's interesting that spanking, at least with boys, is kind of tied up with this idea, like, you got to make a man out of this kid. You got to make him tough, and tough. No gay people can be tough. And I would submit to you that I know some gay people who are pretty tough. So that's out the window. But regardless of that, as a result of writing all this stuff, that's when it started to really click for me that there's a lot of stuff with discipline and gender that's kind of conflated.
Yeah. I think, too, and opinions vary on this, because some people think it's some sort of choice, which I think is absurd. But I'm pretty sure that, regardless of what you do, there really probably isn't much, and, if your kid turns out to be gay, like you said, so what? But regardless, there isn't much chance of there being anything that you can do as a parent that is going to actionably cause your child to be gay. Your kid's either going to be gay or they're not. And so people need
except, if you're in a very conservative religious community, you're definitely going to find people. In fact, I can think of somebody right now who would say that gay and lesbian, like all that stuff, that's not a characteristic of a person. That's a choice that they're making to participate in that lifestyle, and that lifestyle is immoral. And to be honest, the Bible does say that gay people are going to hell, and it says that if you know a gay person, you should stone them to death. And I don't know any conservative Christians who are advocating stoning them to death. So if you're going to take the Bible literally, I don't want to get in trouble here by saying that I'm advocating that you go find somebody and stone them to death. But if you really feel like you got to take it as the literal word of God, it does say that.
Right.
And right after that, it tells you you're not allowed to eat shellfish.
Exactly.
So no lobster, no shrimp, none of that stuff.
Yeah. Well, folks, for whatever reason, who are really into the idea of taking the Bible literally, they tend to hyper focus on that one thing.
Gay part.
The gay part, yes. They're very, very, they're not concerned about, whether or not it's okay to eat shellfish. But they're very, very concerned about the gay thing. That is top of mind, for many of these folks for whatever. You might even say they're a bit preoccupied with it. I've always found that, quite fascinating. But,
and I don't know if you know this, but the Bible's also anti-masturbation. So
yes.
I don't know what about that? Why can't I think the conservative Christians should have a definite platform about no masturbating.
Right. Well, all I know is
where is that? Why? I would like to support that. I would like to donate to that campaign that Christians stop masturbating.
Well, all I know is I was once told by a urologist that it's actually very important to, and these were his exact words, quote, keep the pipes clean for your health and to avoid, and actually to help, and this is documented, to help avoid prostate issues like prostate cancer, for example. You're less likely to get it, apparently, if you, quote unquote, keep the pipes clean. So, but
so this is the only reason that you do it, I imagine, right? You're just following doctor's order.
Well, I mean, if we don't want to. That's for the other. That's for the other show that I do. That's for Matt Connarton Unsheathed, and that's a very different show, and it's only available on the dark web and not here on FM radio, and I am legally prohibited from telling you how to find it. So, but that's but that's for.
Can I ask? Am I allowed to ask John McCain? Did John McCain masturbate?
Oh well, I mean, I don't know if he
not answering that.
I don't know if he wants to.
It's all about the future.
Yeah, he's only interested in the future. He's not interested in the past.
It's all about the future,
right?
What does that even mean?
Requires a cool hand at the tiller.
Oh, I think that's our answer. Yes. Well,
that requires a cool hand.
Talking to the ghost of John McCain, it's kind of like using a Ouija board. You don't get the answer you're looking for necessarily every time the first time. Sometimes you got to be a little bit patient.
Well, that requires a cool hand. It's pretty perfect. That's
yes.
Great.
Yes, a cool hand at the tiller. Apparently that's what he called it when he was with us. But so what else is there anything in the book that would surprise people in terms of topics that you address? Is there anything in there that a parent might read and go, oh wow, I'd never even considered this aspect of being a parent?
Oh boy, well, I don't know. I mean, that would be kind of I don't know that I'm saying anything that parents haven't heard before.
Yeah.
But I feel like what differentiates me from a lot of the parent bloggers who are out there in the space is that I'm actually a psychologist and I'm talking about the latest research. A lot of the bloggers are just kind of like complaining about their kids or making jokes or doing memes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm trying to provide a more substantial basis for why a person might choose these strategies that I'm providing. So, I mean, am I going to say anything where someone says, that's never even crossed my mind. I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
I'd probably be more inclined to say that I'm going to say something in a way that you hadn't thought of it before, or I'm going to, like, the thing I like about psychology is that if you read something that really resonates with you, sometimes you think to yourself, like, I've thought that before in kind of a vague way, but there's something thrilling about seeing somebody put those words together in such a precise way that it, like, rings true. There's like an experience that you can have. And so I'm not necessarily going to say that the book is full of those moments, because that would be a pretty bold thing to say. But what I'm trying to do is try to take the things that I think most parents know are the part and parcel of raising good kids, and then provide some background and some stories and even some rationale for putting your best foot forward.
Okay, very good. Oh, hello to Ed Murphy, who joins us in the Facebook live chat. Ed typed a very funny comment that I'm not going to read on the air because I'm not going to push my luck with that, but it is in the Facebook live chat for those of you who are there. Well, very good. Now, so do you want to kind of, I don't know if you're pressed for time at all, but I did want to ask you what else you wanted to, because we haven't talked for a while. Are you still writing for your blog and for Psychology Today and all that? Is that all ongoing?
Yes.
Great.
Right. So I've got the podcast at IPM Nation, and then I'm still writing for my site at drjohnrich.com. I'm writing for the Good Men Project. I'm writing for Psychology Today. It seems like I have a foot in the door to start writing for a site called Psych Central, which is the American Psychological Association's main page, and Manchester Inklink, which that column is still being updated. So I'm still doing my writing. I try to write something once every week or two. I'll probably be able to pick up the volume once the semester is over, which is in another month.
Okay.
Latest one, maybe we can talk about the next time I'm on the show, because I do probably have to go in the next couple minutes. But I wrote an article about the Brady Bunch. I was watching the Brady Bunch one day, and I was thinking to myself, well, I haven't seen this since I was pretty young. And I started noticing that a lot of the stuff that the parents were doing in the show was pretty good, especially considering that it was 1969 to 1973. I mean, that was a pretty long time ago.
Mike and Carol.
People were even
Mike and Carol were
positive parenting.
They were good parents.
Yeah, they were pretty good. I mean, there are certainly episodes where they have some strategies that are more like trying to make the kid feel guilty, or
right.
There are times where they're not quite understanding what's going on, or they give some pretty poor advice. But for the most part, the show is a pretty good model of the kinds of things that you were looking for. So I wrote this article about a particular episode of the Brady Bunch. You can find it on Manchester Inklink or, any of the other places that I mentioned. And then I broke it down, and I was like, this is what the parents did. Like, here's the situation, and here's what the parents did. And, like, here are 4 things that I notice as a psychological researcher that the parents are doing right. And I focused on that. And within a couple hours, I got an email from Lloyd Schwartz, who is the son of Sherwood, who was the producer of the show. He also produced Gilligan's Island and a couple other things before that. And Lloyd produced the last 2 seasons with his father.
Oh,
and he got in touch and said, I like the article, and a lot of people think that the Brady Bunch is kind of a joke, but there was some intentionality about the show trying to have good parents who were raising good kids. And So I invited him to be on the podcast, and my interview with him just went up last Friday. So
yeah.
if anyone wants to check that out, that's ipmnation.com. And then if you just go to /DJN for Dr. John's Neighborhood, that's the name of the show, then you'll see it there at the bottom. That's probably the easiest way to advise people on the radio to find it. But I got to interview Lloyd Schwartz about it. He gave me all sorts of background information about the show. He was the one that threw the football into Marsha's nose in that very famous episode where... Oh, you have that.
Yes.
Great. Yes. So there was, there's some like behind the scenes information that he provided, and they're actually doing a renovation show now. I don't know if you know that, but
who is
like on HGTV. It's coming out in September, but they're filming it now.
Okay.
Where they bought a house in California, and then they're renovating it to look like the actual Brady house from the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then some of the cast members are there, in the episode and everything. So
yeah.
So that was pretty exciting. It's like a little brush with greatness right there. And
yeah.
But beyond that, the Brady Bunch is turning into a pretty interesting area. Like, I'm thinking that it might be interesting to start watching more shows especially more current shows that have parents in them, and trying to analyze, what are some good examples, or what are some things that happen that are clearly leading to some negative outcomes, and maybe that would be another way to try to write about these things in an accessible way for people.
Have you seen the show Modern Family?
I have not. I know about it.
Yeah, I mean, that just, when you're talking about a show like what you were describing, that was that came to mind. I think it's still going. I haven't seen it in a while, but I used to watch it, and that sounds like it might be right up your alley.
Yeah, I did write an article not too long ago about The Simpsons, and I talked about Homer.
Oh yeah,
as like an anti-dad.
Yes,
that Homer is basically the opposite of what you would want.
Right.
And that sometimes comedy is that. Comedy is displaying the worst of human behavior and then allowing us to feel superior to it.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But I think that what I would like is, instead of, a lot of sitcoms, especially current ones and ones, in the past 10 years, in my opinion, the portrayal of the parents is just that they're complete morons, or they're tangential to the script. It's not really about the parents. And so anybody out there who has an idea about a show that is presenting a positive and nuanced approach to how parents can interact with their children, I'd be happy to have them send me an email or send you a message, and you can forward it to me.
Absolutely.
I'm open-minded about it.
I hear people make that complaint, by the way, specifically about how, and it's usually more conservative-minded people who say this, but people complain about how fathers specifically, I don't hear them complain about how moms are portrayed, but how fathers are portrayed as sort of these clueless bumblers in a lot of these sitcoms, which there might be some truth to, but I don't think it's the terrible problem that they think it is.
Yeah.
But
well, one of the things about the Brady Bunch is that dad is a pretty strong father figure.
Yes.
He never hits his kids, but he raises his voice and he uses his authority. And as I was watching the show, because I watched every episode of the show when I dove into this.
Oh, wow.
And all in a very short amount of time, and, to try to absorb what I was seeing, what the patterns were.
Yeah.
And that show is pretty, in terms of gender equality and sexism, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. A product of its time in some ways, yeah. Sure.
It's a product of its time. But I just wanted to put that out there because Jenny asked the question about gender, and so here I am talking about how great the Brady Bunch, and I do want to acknowledge that that the way that they handle gender, and then in the last season they have an episode about race that's actually pretty offensive, in my opinion. They don't mean it to be offensive.
Right. I don't even remember
by
that.
today's standards, it's kind of they have this family who lives in the neighborhood, and they adopt 3 kids, and one of them's white, and one of them's Asian, and the other one's black. And one of the neighbors is racist and has something to say about it, and the parents stand up to her. And so that part is pretty good.
I never even saw that episode. I wonder if I wonder if the stage, because I used to watch, reruns of the Brady Bunch when I was a kid on Channel 56 out of Boston up here. I wonder if they passed on that particular episode.
I don't know. There were definitely episodes that I saw when I was watching them all, and I was like, I barely remember this one. So I'm sure that the rotation, there's a lot of oh my nose, and the ones with the singing. And you broke Mom's favorite vase. There are certain ones that probably get played an awful lot, and this one probably not.
Mom always said, "Don't play ball in the house." Hey,
exactly.
Wait, no, I think maybe I do remember that race episode though now, because isn't there a kind of a twist on it where the white kid that they adopted they actually got from the Bradys because they wanted to get rid of Oliver?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right.
Nope.
Oh, okay. I'm confused then.
But Oliver is pretty bad.
Yeah.
And, that's the interesting thing about Oliver is I remember him being just a pain in the butt and not likable at all.
Well, he was an interloper. It's like you're all settled in with this family, and then all of a sudden this extra dude shows up. I'm actually Facebook friends.
None of them were cute anymore, so you had to try to bring in a cute kid.
Right. Yeah.
So my recollection was that this, I didn't like this kid.
Right. Yeah.
And then when you watch it, he's only in 3 episodes. Doesn't he seem like he looms a lot larger because he's kind of tainting the waters? But he's only in 3 episodes.
I'm actually
he's barely there.
I'm Facebook friends with Robbie Rist, the actor who played Oliver.
Are you?
Yeah, I've never met him in person, but we have some mutual friends. Yeah, Robbie Rist is his name. Nice guy. But
can you try to get me in touch with him?
Oh, that's a good idea, because you just did the interview with Lloyd J. Schwartz. That's a great idea. Yes, yeah. I will connect you with him. And one other question about that, because I know you got to go, but is it jarring when you're binge watching the Brady Bunch and all of a sudden there's this episode where all the males in the cast suddenly have perms?
Yeah, well, and the other thing is that Robert Reed, at a certain point, I think it's late in season 3, he not only gets the perm, which he keeps all the way through the end, but every shirt that he wears, he has 3 buttons unbuttoned. He's he's showing his chest a little much for a father with 6 children, in my opinion. It's a little risque.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it'd be one thing if...
I don't know what John McCain would think about that, but...
Yeah. I mean, it would be one thing if it was just him and Mrs. Brady. But, you got Alice there, too. It's like, do you really want to be showing off the chest with a single lady in the house as well?
I do know this. Jamming gaydar is not a federal responsibility.
I don't know what that has to do with anything, John.
I don't know what the connection is.
The ghost of John McCain is very, very vulgar at times.
That's an interesting statement, isn't it?
He was like that in...
Look, I'm a big boy.
Well, I know, but you're out of control there, ghost of John McCain. Well,
hey, Matt, you need to teach me how to get a hold of clips like that and stuff. That would be so funny to add to my show. If I don't know how to do any of that stuff, so maybe we can talk off the air. But.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, the easiest way is create some sort of online poll with the entity whom you wish to summon. And because from what I've read, they get kind of bored. They don't even have bodies; they're just kind of floating around out there, and they need something to do. And then, someone summons them, and then they show up, and then they haunt you forever. Which so it's a double-edged sword. But I'll help you.
It
with
is
that.
a double-edged sword.
I'll help you with that. Absolutely. All right, Doctor. Well, thank you so much. Do you want to give your website one more time, and anything else you want folks to know?
Sure, it's drjohnrich.com. That you don't spell out the word doctor. It's just drjohnrich.com. I'm actually currently looking for people who want to contribute. If you have a parenting story of your own or something that you're interested in writing about or something that you're interested in having me write about, I'm looking for some contributors at this moment. And then the book is called Positive Parenting. The easiest way to find that would be on Amazon.
All right. Fantastic. Well, we do need to get back to doing this more often because this is always a pleasure.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. Whenever's convenient for you, we'll make it happen. And this has been great. It's great to talk to you. And congratulations again on getting the book out. That's wonderful. So
thanks. I'll reach out to you real soon about Robbie Wrist and
the
sound stuff and scheduling another appearance.
All right, you got it, brother. Sounds great.
Great.
All right, John.
Thanks a lot.
All right, you got it. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, that was Dr. John D. Rich Jr. It was nice to talk to him again. I could have talked to him longer, but I think he,
Something suddenly came up.
Yes. So there you have it, Dr. John D. Rich Jr. and the ghost of John McCain and I all hanging out together. That was a lot of fun. This has been another edition of the best of Matt Connarton Unleashed. Don't worry, the show will be back soon, live weekdays 4 to 6 p.m. on WMNH 95.3 FM in Manchester. And I'll talk at y'all a little bit later. Bye, everybody.
Something suddenly came up.